Hello all you awesome ACAL students, and welcome to Pre-Cal. This is our first video. This is Mrs. Shrigley, and we are going to look at what you need to do for your distance and midpoint foldable. Your distance and midpoint foldable is the green one that you picked up in class today, and so you notice how it's folded, and so you would glue the back side of that into your INB, your interactive notebook. And then we will go ahead and fill in the part that's on the inside. And I'm sorry it's so small. Next time I'll be better, I promise. When you open your foldable, this is what the inside will look like. And so I don't have everything down here at the bottom because I cut it off. But our distance formula is the distance is equal to the difference between the x values, so x2 minus x1 quantity squared, plus the y2 minus y1 quantity squared, and then take the square root of all that. And so if you think about Pythagorean theorem, whenever you're doing a right triangle, that's kind of where this is coming from. Okay, and then when we look at the midpoint formula, we're looking for the halfway point between the 2 points. So we're going to add the two x values, divide by 2, add the two y values, divide by 2, and that will give us our midpoint. And so we're going to look at first at the distance between two specific points. Alright, so the 2 points that we're going to look at the distance between are the point 1, 2 and the point 4, 6. Yes, that is a 6. I am sorry. I'll have to, let's see if I can. There we go. Let's try this again. There we go. That's a little better. All right. So make sure you have those down, and then let's look at plugging them in. All right. So we're going to take our x values. So we want the difference in our x values first. So it's x2 minus x1. So that will be 4 minus 1 quantity squared, plus the difference in our y values will be y2 is 6 minus 2 quantity squared. 4 minus 1 is 3. And 6 minus 2 is 4. So 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 16. So we have 9 plus 16 is 25. And then we want to take the square root of that. So the square root of 25 is 5. So the distance between those 2 points is 5. And then we're going to graph that. And so if we graph the point 1, 2, be right in there. And if we graph point 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, I'm off of there, 6. That's what that should be. It's a little off. And so that's what our line would look like. And so the distance there, and so if I looked at this, you know, the distance here was 3. The distance here was 4, and then when we squared that, we ended up with 9 plus 16. And the other way, if I look at it, that's a right triangle. This is going to be a 3, 4, 5, if you remember your special rights. And so then we know this distance here is 5. All right, now let's look at the midpoint. So for our midpoint, we're going to look at the midpoint between those same 2 points, 1, 2, and 4, 6. And then we will plug that into our. So for midpoint, we add our two x values, okay? And so it doesn't matter which way you're adding them, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do 1 plus 4 and 2 plus 6. That's a 2. Yes, I'm sorry. And so 1 plus 4 is 5, and 2 plus 6 will be 8. 5 divided by 2 will be 2.5, or 2.5. And wow, that's just really bad. I'm sorry. Been a while since I've had to make videos. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So our midpoint is going to be at the point 2.5, 4. And so we could plot those points. So we're going to plot our two original points, 1, 2, 4, 6, and then our midpoint. So the point 1, 2 is going to be right here. The point 4, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is up here. And when we draw in our line, then we have our midpoint is going to be at 2.5 and 4. And so it's going to be right in there, will be our midpoint. And if you wanted to, you could go ahead and label these. That would probably be a good idea. 1, 2, 4, 6. And this midpoint is 2.5, 4. Okay, so let's look at what our final thing should look like. So once you have everything filled out, and I'm thinking they can't count because the person that did this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe I can't count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, I don't know if on your paper, if it has this on there, if that grid is drawn correctly or not. So, I'm going to have to look at that. And because this one actually goes up to 6 right there instead of going up just 5. But you still get the idea of what it's supposed to look like. And that should be your final thing, and you should have it glued into your INB on the page that I told you to do in class. That is it, and have a great evening.